Well, guys, we making good time. Let me go ahead and move on to topic number 9. We got so many topics today, and it is a show that we love talking about. Lately, we've been talking about it on Lamont's channel on Friday nights, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, and that is WandaVision. And right now, for the 9th topic, it says WandaVision is the #1 show worldwide right now, and it deserves it because the show is just so darn good. And I got the report right here from Forbes. Disney Plus's WandaVision cast into the top viewing spot worldwide. Disney looks clearly to have its second successful original on its hands with Marvel's WandaVision. The miniseries based on Marvel comic character has been a huge surge in viewership, even rising to the status of #1 series worldwide. That's according to Patriot Analytics, the audience attention measurement system that captures an audience behavior data set by sifting through social media, fan ratings, and piracy data to represent audience demand. The calculation shows that the sitcom-style show has become the world's most in-demand TV show across all platforms less than 4 weeks after its January 15th debut. And in stroke of good timing for formidable viewership comes just prior to Disney's upcoming earnings call. And I mean, this is a super dope right here. Of course, Lamont, I'm passing it to you, man. How are you feeling about this so far, man? With Disney's WandaVision being #1 across all platforms so far.
I mean, I foretold this last year when I told people to buy that Disney stock, B. Avery, when Disney told us shareholders, and mind you, I have 100 some odd shares in Disney, so they give me phone calls when they want to make adjustments. They said to the shareholders, look, we're going to make you guys more money by beefing up our streaming services. Right now, the #1 thing that brings in money to Disney is closed, which is their Disney vacation studios. They're closed. So we've got to beef up this streaming, and we want to compete with Netflix. I said on my channel back then that I think they will surpass Netflix in 2 years, and I had some people on that channel laughing at me. And people's like, well, how do you think they're going to do that? I've said, because they have Marvel. The highest grossing movies in the last decade have all been Marvel. And if you can get a piece of that magic and put it on a streaming service, they're going to make big money. They're going to draw a lot of people. And WandaVision in the beginning was not the most anticipated story that they was telling on their service.
Right.
And now it has reached #1. So kudos to them. There was people in the beginning, and I'm just going to have to put this out there, some black people that was like, oh, it's trash. I watch it, it's trash. I don't get it, it's trash. Now you can't beat them. Back then they didn't want me. Now it's hot, they all on you.
Right on.
More kudos.
Now, before I pass it to you, Larry, if you're in the chat, if you go on to reading this article, it talks about how different things are released, like with streaming services. Like, okay, you have Netflix, and what is the show? The karate show, Cobra Kai. How that when they release all that at one time and it's a binge, it's good for that weekend. You know, it's a big spike, but it fizzles out,
Yep.
But if you release it week to week, it builds up over time. And WandaVision didn't become #1 until about the 4th or 5th episode. But I have this quote right here. When we see a binge release series like we do on Netflix, we're seeing demand skyrocket at first for like a week, explained Wade Payson-Denny, Insights analyst, Paris Analytics. Payson-Denny noted shows like The Crown, The Queen's Gambit, and Cobra Kai as examples. They really pop up at first, but quickly trail off. It's a quick hit for these streamers. Whereas with the week release, we see popularity gradually build over time, especially for a show like The Mandalorian and WandaVision. Larry, what do you think about that so far? And do you prefer everything to be released at one time, or do you prefer being released week to week to build up momentum?
Well, I'll tell you, as a reviewer, as someone who gets on here and talks about movies and TVs, I prefer it week to week because it makes it easier to actually watch an episode, break it down, and it keeps bringing people back in. Right. Whereas as a consumer, sometimes I want to watch everything. I just want to go get it and watch it and be like, oh, that was awesome. But there's something to be said about watching stuff week to week. And I get what they're saying as far as Netflix has the whole sort of whole sort of binge culture thing with it. And I think that pre-pandemic, I think the binge thing often worked well because some people didn't always have time to sit down and watch a show every single week. But sometimes people had a Saturday off and they were like, I'm just going to sit down and binge the whole of The Crown this weekend. And they watch it and then they go about their life and they talk about it with friends at work on Monday. And the people say, oh, I have to go check that out. And so other people binge it. But I think now when people are at home and they have more time, I think the whole week to week thing just continues to bring people in. It allows people to have conversations about it. And then people who may not have watched it before are continually hearing WandaVision pop up, WandaVision. They're like, what is this WandaVision? I need to go check it out. And then it brings more people in. So, I mean, personally, I think that the week to week thing is probably better for the shows, but sometimes I like to binge.
I got you. Me personally, I prefer the week to week. It's easier to review, in my opinion, and also it just makes more business sense, in my opinion, especially if you're going for subscribers. Someone won't just get a free trial and then cancel. If it's week to week in the spread of 6 to 8 to 12 episodes, I mean, that's just more money on the long end. And like you said, or both of you said, it just builds momentum. Like, oh, what is this WandaVision I keep hearing about? So it just makes perfect sense to me to do this. The week thing. But I mean, Netflix is doing the whole binge thing, so apparently it's working out for them. But I personally prefer week to week. Lamont, would you want to say something else?
But Netflix has that whole part of Netflix's business model is on quantity, and they have so much quantity that they can afford to do the whole binge thing because they'll binge. They may binge the Queen's Gambit this week, and everybody's, that was awesome. What are they gonna do next? Well, next week then they drop Bridgerton, and people, that was awesome. What are they gonna do next? Then they go ahead and drop the Crown, and they have so much content that they can afford to do a binge. That they can afford to drop it out there and let people binge because the next week they're gonna have something else.
Right on.
I think that allowing people to have space in between these shows has been the biggest thing that has helped catapult this to number one. Because if you would have left it up to, they would have just dropped every episode the first week, they probably wouldn't have a point where they would have been the number one most watched show because so many people was trashing the first 3 episodes. And so this one, once they got around to episode number 4 and people start having a chance to watch us break down theories, break down what's going on that they didn't understand what was going on that made it good for us, then they start saying, oh, and not only that, B. Avery, but then you have people that because they have nothing else left to watch, they do like we did. They will go back and watch the latest episode 2 or 3 more times, which adds to those binge numbers, which adds to those bulk numbers of being streamed over and over again. So I'm with you guys, man. We need shows like this that go week to week.
Right on.